Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. How do we feel today after 35 wins in a row? Calm, cool, collected, deep breaths, ready for whatever the game throws at us. Stats, not so good, but rate of fire is good, and our spacebar item is solid, and it doesn't matter that much, G9 CT PCVB. It doesn't matter that much if our stats are bad for now, because we have Blue Baby's only friend. So I will be using Black Hole as well, which is a really nice way for us to get some extra leverage early on. You know, blow up some tinted rocks that otherwise we wouldn't have access to, and, you know, kill bosses with a relative ease. We could kill the Hunt with relative ease. That's the Donkey Kong rap. You know what? I'm a fool, and we definitely should have thrown this, and I think I still will, because there is a tinted rock there. We got Binky as well. I mean, rate of fire is doing pretty good right now. If we could pick up a damage upgrade from our shop, from our item room, or our first deal with the devil, that would be very nice. What's going on in NL lands? We just got back. It's my wife's birthday today. It's a Monday. We spent the weekend skiing at the location known as Whistler Blackcomb, largest skiable acreage in North America, as far as I know. NL, I didn't know you skied. That's my secret. I don't. I ski on occasion. My wife snowboards. She likes to snowboard. I ski. I like to be skiing, but sometimes it is terrifying, and I have trouble, like, explaining this. When I was a kid, I think it's partly because of where we live. BC is kind of like a ski mecca. There's many mountains, even more hills, and Whistler Blackcomb is like, they had the Olympics, the alpine events of the Olympics there in 2010, and, you know, it's huge. There's two 2-kilometer high mountains, both of which you can ski, like, from the top down to the very bottom, which is amazing if you're an experienced skier, or, you know, snowboarder, or, I don't know, tobogganist, whatever you end up doing up there. But it is terrifying the first couple of runs if you're a novice skier, so, you know, there's always a little bit of ski anxiety for me. I didn't even notice the tinted rock there. Kind of screwed it up, but definitely screwed it up. Hopefully we can get the ability to fly. It was still worth it to get everything else, but still. And I think, like, you know, I skied when I was younger. I was trying to see, like, you know, I wasn't an avid skier, but I was trying to think, like, you know, why did skiing feel so much easier when I was 10 than it does now that I'm 30? Like, I'm not in great shape, but I have, like, way more musculature than I did when I was 10. You know, a 10-year-old boy is it's just bone and then, like, flab. Like, that's, your body hasn't gone through the necessary hormonal changes to, like, at least put in the scaffolding for you to have, you know, thick legs and stuff like that. You know, it's just, it's snack foods and then the bones you were born with, at least for me. So, you know, you'd think I'd be a more skilled skier or more confident skier now, but it's not the case, and I realize what it is. It's a very simple, like, physics equation, you know? It's Mario Kart. When you're a kid, you don't weigh nearly as much. You know what that means. You know, when you apply that weight to a frictionless surface, basically, going downhill, you don't get going that fast, you know? You got the ability to kind of, like, not accelerate that quickly. It's way less scary. You're just kind of gliding. Oh, no thank you. As an adult, you're like a freaking runaway train. You're the train from Unstoppable. And Denzel Washington's trying to pull the brakes, and you're like, yeah, but my knee's never been the same since I tore my meniscus on Jericho Beach 5 years ago, and it's a whole thing that, you know, I mean, I'm alive, and it turned out relatively well, to be honest. I had a great time, and so did Kate, but, you know, I'm not a strong skier. I don't know what it is. The ski boots, man, every time I go, they're so uncomfortable, but I wear like a size 12 in a shoe, and that's not braggadocious, it just is what it is, you know? You know what they say about guys who have big feet? Their shoes are bigger. consistently. I mean, they should be at least. But in a ski boot, I was wearing like a 13, and even then I was like, this is crushing my foot completely, so I don't know. The other thing is that on Whistler, I guess maybe this is indicative of the kind of person that I am, but it's like a mountain. It's nature. And they don't force you to do like a course or anything. I shouldn't phrase it like I don't know how to ski at all. Like I didn't go to the top of the mountain and then go like, oh, how do you turn? But simultaneously, I'm amazed that they'll just let you take like a ski lift 2 kilometers into the sky and then be like, all right, get down. It's a tough task, even as an able-bodied, relatively young man myself. And when you're going, you don't get like a heads-up display, And I understand that for people who ski, part of the enjoyment is the freedom and, not carving your own path necessarily, unless, you're that kind of person, but, it's like it's just you and Mother Nature, figuring out the route that you want to take. But for a novice, I want to stay exclusively on this path that's called, like, easiest route. I don't know if you've heard of it. You know what? This could work out. I can live with this. But then the thing is, it's a mountain, so even on the easiest route, at any point, you're just, like, 20 feet away from, like, literally flying off of the top of the mountain. I'm not saying you would fall 2 kilometers to the bottom, but you would, you'd easily fall 40, 50, or 60 feet to jagged rocks below and probably break something. I wouldn't necessarily suggest you're likely to die. But, break a collarbone or something for sure. I'll take Dimble. No, I won't. Fishtail's so much better with this. I mean, it's not markedly better, I guess, but the thing is, you gotta think about the use case, right? We pop Black Hole. What do we care about our stats being better? Black Hole is gonna probably kill the enemy, especially with Blue Baby's only friend, and then, we're just immediately gonna lose the Dimbulb effect anyway. But yeah, you'll be on, like, this is a real example. You'll be on a route called Green Road, and then it's like, okay, you come to a little junction, and it's like, if you want to keep going on Green Road, go straight. If you want to go on, Joe died on this route, make a 1 degree left turn. And you're lucky, most of the time you can, especially if visibility's good, you just go, I'm gonna go straight on the flat and level path that has a lot of children on it, as opposed to going left down the moguls. That's easy enough to figure out for yourself, but simultaneously, like, one wrong turn and you're gonna be calling 911, taking a snowmobile down. Anyway, that's what we were doing this weekend. It was fun. Always nice to get away. There's benefits to an active holiday. I slept amazingly. Like, the ski lifts closed at like 3, which every time I was like, no. But in my head I was like, oh, my legs are gonna work again. So then, you go out for like a late lunch or an early dinner, and then after that you're like, I'm exhausted. So you like, take a dip in the swimming pool or something like that, and then you're like, I'm just gonna go to bed. You go to bed at like 7:30 p.m. I mean, I didn't literally, but... And okay, apparently Gertie Jr. is immune to the gravitational pull of a black hole. Put that in your pipe and smoke with Christopher Nolan. I didn't realize. No deal, but our first HP. Is this, yeah, Flooded Caves 1. We're just cruising on what I would describe as like a pretty good run right now. Got a ways to go. Whistler is also, it's like a resort. So you get a party crowd as well, which is less of what I'm into. I was telling, I have these thoughts on getting older, and I always have to defend the thoughts because there's such a preconceived notion of the idea that getting older is a bad thing. That whenever I say, dude, I love all of these items, but I think Sprinkler's a little bit more fun. So whenever I talk about getting older, sometimes people are like, you're not that old. And I'm like, I know, but I'm still older than I've ever been before. So, and I don't see it as a bad thing. If anything, I see it as, at worst, an inevitability. But I kind of see it as, like an evolution. It's not like Charizard is going like, oh man, I'm so old now I can fly, but it hurts my shoulder blades. And there, it doesn't mean he wants to be Charmander. He's probably enjoying the Hyper Beam. Look, I don't know anything about Pokemon, let's be honest. But I was telling Kate, it was like, 10 p.m. and we walked past a nightclub in Whistler. And there was a bunch of, like, as soon as we walked by, I don't know, if you're watching this, you've never been inside of a nightclub, don't let me dissuade you. But the feeling of walking inside is palpable, and I remember it greatly. Always, like, especially in college, it's like a friend of yours' 19th birthday, and she wants to go to the club, and you're like, I don't really want to do that, but I'll come along with you because it's your birthday, and then, just end up feeling awkward. It's not my location. It's not where my personality shines, But when you walk in, first, oftentimes you get frisked in order to make sure you're not popping in there with like a samurai sword or something like that. And then immediately you're hit by a wall of air, and the wall of air is produced by the base inside, but is also produced by like human perspiration, and it's like 5 degrees warmer than the temperature outside. So, if you're into that sort of thing, if you're Finnish and you love the sauna to begin with, it's a great place to spend your evening. But, we walked by, and I was like, you know what? I had a salient observation. I was like, I'm not glad that, because I've never enjoyed that to begin with. I'm not glad that I'm older, so I don't enjoy that anymore. I was like, man, I'm glad that I'm older, so my friends are older too. Because nobody... Well, I shouldn't say nobody, because I've watched HBO, and I've seen Samantha and Carrie get up to some shenanigans, but for the most part, your club-going days are done after the age of 30, And I'm not saying, if that's what you love, if you love to go out on a Friday or a Saturday and dance, and I'm avoiding making a lot of smarmy comments about the quality of the music inside and the et-ceteras and the et-ceteras involved, the fact that a drink is $12.50, etc. I'm ignoring all that. I'm not even mentioning it. If that's where your passion lies, then that's cool. Don't let me dissuade you. But it's never been like that for me. But I was harangued into going to a bunch of them when I was younger, and other people in my age group were into it. And it was age appropriate, if you're 23, 24 years old. Not uncommon at all. But now that I'm older, I'm like, man, I'm so much happier that I don't have to pretend to be... either pretend to enjoy myself there, or alternatively, pretend to be like, yeah, I'm real excited. I don't know what we want here. This might sound negative. I don't mean it to be negative. It's quite the opposite. It's more like, it's very nice to just finally get a little close. Like, it's not that my body's getting older, although that's obviously also the case. It's more that my physical age is starting to match the mental age that I've held for a long time. Maybe that's why, people who are into stuff that is age appropriate for them are a little bit more anxious about getting older, whereas me, I'm like, yo, bro, every year is a golden gift. We get a little closer to, my interest being the norm. Jeopardy Club's about to take off. We will do this. Might as well pick up Guardian Angel right away. Anyway, just like, man. Here's the thing. I think you go through, for everything, this is my experience at least, based on, me just coming up with this off the top of my head. So obviously a lot of forethought has gone into this. With any youthful pursuit, there's 3 stages. There's I'm into this. There's I'm sad to no longer be into this. And then there's I'm happy to no longer be into this. So there may have been a point, where maybe when I was in my early 20s, if I went up to a ski resort, ski all day, and then, party at night, go to bed late, wake up early, and go back out on the slopes. And then there was probably a year or two where I was like, man, we're definitely taking Shoop to Whoop. It's too good. Where I was like, man, can't really do that anymore. I'll feel bad tomorrow. That sucks. And now I'm in this position where I'm like, dude, these 22-year-olds should be jealous of me. They gotta stay out here and go through this social song and dance, whereas I get to go home. and, you know, watch an episode of some true crime documentary on Netflix, go to sleep. If you can't understand that, what is it, Dr. Dre? If you don't know, then now you know. That is not Dr. Dre. That is Notorious B.I.G. Anyway, you get the general gist of it. But the caveat there is that also many times while we were skiing, I met, like, you know, 55-year-old men who were like, yeah, I've been skiing for 8 hours. It feels great. And I'm like, oh, really? What's it like to have Terminator knees? I didn't realize that I was this far, you know, behind the curve. You see them bombing down the hill as well. You know, they're hitting the moguls. Tough. Anyway. I stand by, you know, skiing is a little scarier the older you get. When you're young, I think you have a little bit more control, and kids are a little bit more resilient, you know. As an adult, you know, I hate to say it in a way that sounds braggadocious, but, like, I've got a fear of death instilled into me. Hello.
Hello.
Probably the loudest door opening I've ever heard.
Total has thrown up 3 times while you're recording.
What? Alright, I'll be back. My son. Are you okay? It's the life of a cat owner. Sometimes, you know, we've been away for a few days. We come back. They get excited. They get excited. They fight. They fight. They eat each other's hair. They eat too much of the hair. They throw up. It's a living. We have one cat. Tomo rarely vomits. Ruka vomits in a way that, were he a human being, he would get his own TLC reality show. Basically, let me give you the Ruka cycle. My apologies for being away, by the way. Ruka gets hungry. Or sometimes is not even hungry, I imagine. Sees that there's food in the bowl. Eats all the food in the bowl. Goes over to Tomo's bowl. Eats until I can only assume he feels physical discomfort. Hold on. This room, it's scrambling my brain. And then, like, an hour later, throws up. And when I look at the vomit, it's just like... it's just cat food. By the way, I want to point out... this is a very pivotal decision. I did wash my hands. We come up to this... I know, because there's a contingent of chat. And it's just trolling. And I know it's just trolling. I think we should take it, even though it frightens me. Maybe because it frightens me. I should take it. But they go, hey, I didn't hear you wash your hands. That's okay. You know, I live in a... no. I live in a small place, but simultaneously, you know, if anything, it's nice that you didn't hear it. I did it discreetly. I don't know. Should we use... we got to be real cautious here. I mean, this has gotten Very dangerous very, very quickly. Shoop the whoop. Not shoop the whoop. Death's Touch is a great pickup. It's just also very, you know, Thunderbolts and Lightning very, very frightening me. No, I have not seen Bohemian Rhapsody yet. We should have really thought about this in greater detail before we went through with it, but, you know, we're here now. It's exactly what I was hoping for, was Degas. And, dude, Degas in the Hierophant, all right. All of a sudden, tense moments alleviated. Now, what we should do in the future is get Degas and the Hierophant before we take Death's Touch, and then we won't be dealing with the same level of anxiety. I will say, we fought like 2 enemies after the point at which we took that deal with the devil, so it wasn't like it took us long to get to a better level of HP. But yeah, it was not necessarily a prudent decision, yet here we are. You know, I try not to let it get to me. This is the calm, cool, collected part of the equation, right? You know, you gotta recognize that sometimes you're gonna have decisions that put you in a little bit of no thank you. A little bit of what seems like danger and is dangerous, but as long as you play your cards right, you know, you can hopefully turn that danger into a positive. And we did. Screwed up our Mega Satan chance, but now we do have there he is. Now we do have Deal with the Devil precedent and piercing shots. Anyway, I thought I was starting to get to a salient point there before real life intervened about age, you know? That's why I think some people are scared to get older. Not scared, but, you know, more anxious to get older. Is, you know, they can only see the stage at which they're gonna not... The stage at which they're not gonna be as interested in doing the things that they used to do. And they feel bad about it. You get over that stage mighty quick and you spend the rest of your life in a kind of nirvana, I think. That's my existence so far, at least. So let's grab belly button, get the heck out of here. Like, you might... Hold on. No, not this one. This one. I mean, we might as well hold them both. What do we care? You might think that it's like... all the, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60-somethings at home watching Netflix instead of, you know, doing the variant on a tequila shot where you snort the salt, drink the tequila, and then squirt the lemon in your eye. You might think, like, oh, the 60-year-olds would rather be out here doing this. But they don't have the liver function anymore to support nights like that. You're half right. But the thing is, I just look at that stuff now and I'm like, man, that's exhausting. I get it, you know, I've been there. I've done that. I've dealt with the nosebleed after. But simultaneously now I'm just like, dude, that's a lot of work. I already spent all day being busy, doing stuff I needed to do to preserve my existence and, you know, my family line and etc., etc. At night, dude, I want someone else to go out and entertain me. I don't want to have to go out and entertain myself and wake up the next day and be, like, tired because you slept badly and, you know, restlessly and, you know, you get the idea. I think that's the spirit of aging gracefully. Is recognizing that, you know, leave the college life in the, you know, young adult life for the young adults. I'm happy to be there. I'm telling you, man, next PAX is like, walk the show floor. Every day, walk the show floor. Be there early when everybody else is hungover. Shake a few hands with developers. Hey, are you Northernlion? No, I'm Matthew Santoro, blah, blah. You know, you get the idea. Basically trying hard not to meet fans. Oh, no, I'm Vin Diesel. I'm just joking. And then go back to the hotel and just take 2 baths. That's my ideal night right now. 2 baths. Not for cleanliness purposes, just because it's nice to have no gravity on your limbs, and I firmly believe that. Where am I going here? We're going to fight Mom. We're going to have a deal with the Angel Chance. No, we're going to have a deal with the devil chance. Sorry, I forgot that we took Death's Touch. But this run is not looking like a guarantee. It's looking okay, for sure. I mean, actually, this could actually pay huge dividends right here. I would like to see some red hearts or a red heart upgrade, or actually mapping might be functionally pretty okay. That's not what you want to see. Let's put it that way. But at least, oh, we get IV bag. Jeez Louise. I would say that that's basically 2 whiffs in one here. We do have an Emperor card. We'll probably pop that on the next floor. Excuse me, sir. I have 0.74 speed. I'm going to need you to not code a game where I get dumped on like that. I'm going to need all enemies to have flashing lights and big warning signs on the side of them. Dude, I mean, you have to go for this one, I think. I think it's more survivable to go for it. So I really think you pretty much just take that. And I hate to say it, but I do think you take Judas' Shadow right after. And, I mean, we basically have 3.5 HP right now. So I would love, I'd maybe even prefer to build on this life as opposed to leaving it up to chance, but this is a perfect enemy for us to be fighting with piercing shots and shoop-de-whoop. And I'm pretty, you know, overall happy with the way this run's looking, except for HP. So I'll even go back a room just to see. I wish I hadn't. Oh my god, how did we not get hit there? Just want to see if we got a second secret room in our future. We don't. That's fine. We'll head down to the next floor. It's just calm, it's cool, collected. And I gotta tell you, this is a little bit of an inflection point. You know, it's... You know when you're building like a Lego or a Kinect's lightsaber? And you know, like, as you're building it, you can feel the tension points where it's gonna snap if you hit your friend in the neck too hard, right? This is one such point. You know, I'm coming back, I'm slightly out of Isaac practice, a little bit exhausted, you know, just took my own life into my hands on the Sea to Sky Highway, which, you know, is nice. It was upgraded prior to the Olympics, apparently. I mean, I didn't live here at the time. But, you know, it's still, like, I swear to you, man, you'll be... It's like a 100-kilometer highway that cuts through the mountains. It's predominantly not straight. You know, you're curving at all times. And you'll just be driving, you know... I don't know, any cops watching? You'll be driving, you know, 15... kilometers over the speed limit, and then you look behind you, or in your rear view mirror, nothing. You look in your rear view mirror a quarter of a second later, it's a black GMC Sienna with Alberta plates and no lights on, and it just blows by you. Is harrowing, man. And on the right side is like if you know, sneeze at the wrong time, you go out the guardrail, find yourself inside of the Pacific Ocean. I don't know why people have to drive so aggressively, you know? I say this, by the way, do I get annoyed by slow drivers? All the time. All the time. And, you know, I have some anecdotes about it. I can't remember if I've told you. We don't need it. Let's go up. I am not a slow driver, but what I am not is an aggressive driver. You know, I don't drive 20 under the speed limit. And moreover, I get my butt into the right lane if I'm not passing somebody. So if some idiot is like, hey, why are you only doing 130 on a 90? You know, it's kilometers, not miles. But, you know, he can get by me and, you know, go to his penile enhancement medical treatment. That doesn't bother me, you know, have a nice life. It only bothers me when, you know, it's on dangerous road conditions. People are blowing by you with no signal lights. I just don't get it, man. There's not... have you ever been so pressed for time that you got yourself killed just so you weren't late? That's basically what runs through my head every time I see these people that, you know... I'm doing over the speed limit, markedly. Possibly could be given a ticket myself, although I like to think I keep myself in warning range. I'm not an aggressive driver by any means either. But then people, you know, they just blow by you and they're like, hey, Grandpa! If you're not doing 160 in the right lane, go back to Ontario. And I'm like, all right, Mr. 17-year-old Porsche Cayenne driver with the learner's plates. I'm sorry that apparently when they taught me how to drive, 14 years ago, they were like, here's how not to die. Whereas now when they teach you, they're like, here's how to leave your house as late as possible and still arrive on time for your appointments. Two very different schools of thought. I was thinking about it, and I was like, when we have to go down the interstate to get to Washington, which we do, and, a few times a year for, visiting Kate's sister and, our nieces and, going to PAX and whatnot, sometimes, concerts or, sporting events or whatever in Washington. And, we drive quickly, pass fairly frequently. And it works, it feels comfortable. And it feels like everybody that's going markedly slower, they have like some sort of confidence deficiency, right? But then I was like, why don't I feel like that on the ski hill? Like, why do I go so slow when I'm skiing? And I realized that it's basically just like a question of what do you trust more? Your car or your legs? And I think I have made the more sensible decision. Even though I'm not a huge fan of our car, I believe in its safety record, and I trust the brakes to work with substantially more reliability than I trust my own legs to work when it comes to the braking that might be necessary, You get the idea. I was trying to explain, we went skiing with friends of ours, and they're basically like the mirror image, or what the inverse image, it doesn't matter. They have the same sort of arrangement that Kate and I have, where one of them is intermediate or advanced level, and one of them is like a complete beginner. So, Kate was like, why are you guys so tired? You didn't even ski that much. And we had to explain, when you are a bad skier, it's a much better workout than if you're a good skier, I think, because you spend 99% of your time braking. So I know you're looking at this, by the way, and you're like, is my boy really not going to use the D100? I swear to you it's true until at least we come back with Dark Judas, if we come back. I don't want to lose our respawn, maybe be on 1 HP, Ipecac, my reflection, etc., etc. Like all these other people, they're like, wow, skiing's such great exercise, snowboarding's such great exercise. I see them, they're just going down the hill. All you got to do is stand up. If you're... This is not even the right direction. If you're a bad skier, skiing from the top of the mountain down to the bottom is like holding a squat for minutes at a time. Now, it's not a squat with heavy weight, it's a body weight squat, but simultaneously it's like, it ain't no joke. Anyway, there's not many more skiing anecdotes. I did have a great idea for a website, though. And it's a one-off joke. It fits perfectly into the end of an episode. And I'll make it. You don't have to make it. If you want to make it, don't let me stop you. It's not $1 million idea. But it's a website, and what it does is it flashes something on the screen, a name, and then you have to choose. That's fine. You have to choose. Is what you're seeing a ski trail name or a strain of legal cannabis? You might think that this doesn't have legs. I'm telling you, a certain contingent of people would be on this website for 9 or 10 minutes. And that's enough. If you can entertain some people for 9 or 10 minutes, your job's done, right? Let me give you some examples. By the way, all of these ski trail names. Free Fall. Could be either. Green Road. Green Road. Come on. That was the one that inspired this whole idea to begin with. No. Probably the greatest reroll of my entire life. Look at what we've done here. My word. Did we get lucky with this run? I don't want to say yes, but I think there's a certain element of we should be happy to have made it here. trying to think of some of the other ones. Last Resort, I don't know. That's one of the ones where it sounds like neither, to be honest. Last Resort, also an easy one. Sunset Boulevard. You might think that one's a ski hill. You'd be right. I think I told you, they're all ski hills. Anyway, you get the idea. Jersey Cream. Guess what? That's right. You're getting really good at this game. If you just guess ski hill all the time, you're in the clear. Anyway, we won. A little spotty. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. It's good to be back. If you did, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Northernlion, to be notified when I go live in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.